Hello everyone, my name is Fried Ludwig. I'm a graffiti artist from Munich, Germany, and today I'm gonna show you how I draw a graffiti style in my favorite painting spot. I've been painting graffiti since I was 15 years old for about 15 years now, so you can do the math how old I am. What most people don't know is graffiti isn't just art, it's also physical labor. So you need to prepare good and get a good breakfast. Maybe get some coffee on the way so you stay sharp to paint cool styles. Also, because it's April and cold, dress warm, because if you're standing outside for hours, you're gonna get really cold really fast. Also, graffiti is a messy hobby, so don't take your fresh, new, expensive clothes to painting because you're gonna get paint all over them. So use some old work clothes, just like me. Okay, then I pack my stuff. Always make sure to double check or triple check if you got everything with you, because sometimes the painting spots are in the middle of nowhere, and if you forgot something you have to go all the way back home. Okay, let's hit the road. Unfortunately in Munich there aren't a lot of legal spots, so for example I always have to take the tram or the subway to get to a spot. Unfortunately, on this day there were construction works in the subway and I had to take a detour. So after the subway trip I finally get to my painting spot. This is an old abandoned railway station which was built in the 70s. I found an old abandoned shopping cart which was perfect to store all my graffiti stuff in it so I can move it around. The first step is to prepare the wall. I use some wall paint which I got for free because it was expired from a paint shop. So I use a telescoping rod and a roller to prepare it. Also wear a respirator to protect your lungs, and gloves to protect your hands are also a good idea. For my graffiti I use cans from Montana Black, Loop or MTN, Hardcore or 94, but to be honest all graffiti paint is good nowadays, so I like to mix and match, and I use what's available and what's cheap to buy. I decided to write the word award because I often like to experiment with different names, different words, different letter combinations, because they each got their own flow and I try to keep things fresh. For sketching, or in graffiti slang first lines, I use a standard cap because it gives me a good flow, and you can use whatever you want. You can use leftovers because it's gonna get painted over, so don't worry about the color for the first lines. What you see me throughout the whole video is walking back from the wall and checking if the proportions are right. Also, if you're not satisfied with some lines, just use another color. For example, here you see me using a light brown to resketch your lines till you're satisfied. So, take your time with the first lines. They are the basement of your letters. I realized between the A and the W there's a space, so I draw a rectangle. It's called a bit in the graffiti language to fill the space. because there was some space left at the upper end of the A, I draw an arrow. But for all beginners, don't draw too many arrows. An arrow has to make some sense. For the background, I used a scraper to smash the can because it gives you like a really cool look. But be careful, don't hurt yourself and don't get paint in your face. I like to work from the background to the foreground, so I'm filling all the spaces where aren't letters with some brown. To do this fast, I use an astrofat cap. This is the fattest cap you can get on a spray paint, and this allows you to paint really fast. And I like to paint really fast and dirty. I retrace the outlines and then I fill the space horizontal. This is the best way to get a clean covering coat of paint. There are many ways to fill your letters. I like to use a color, fill a quarter of a letter randomly, and then hop from each letter till I'm finished, then take another shade and start from the beginning all over again till all letters are filled in. For me, filling in the letters is quite meditative. I know if it's pronounced correct, but it's really relaxing for me. So you see, if you're painting a graffiti piece, you're getting a really good workout because you're moving everywhere, you're holding the spray paint for a long time, you're pressing the cap. So after the painting I was really beat, even my leg muscles were sore. This is a problem of me, I always paint big pieces and filling in takes a lot of time and costs more money for the paint. I always try to promise myself, hey, next time I'm gonna paint smaller, but it doesn't happen. So the fill-in is done. I skipped some parts because I don't want to bore you to death. I realized I forgot to fill in the crossbar in the A, so I painted it and tried to fade it in so you don't notice I had to stitch it in. Now it's time for some details, for example just some dots, or I really like to paint some lines in the letters. Okay, painting the outlines. This is the most tricky part in my opinion, and you see really if somebody is able to paint good styles or good graffiti in general, if he can paint good clean outlines. I try to experiment a little bit and use the calligraphy cap for the outlines. But something I also realized in this painting, the outlines have to be proportional to the size of the letters. This means if you paint big letters like me, the outlines also have to be thicker. What's also important is to have a good contrast between the fill-in color and the outline. So if you look at the color wheel, it's often a good idea to choose the opposite color of your fill-in color as your outline color. Or you can be safe and choose black or white as a good contrast outline. I paint a drop shadow effect to get a three-dimensional look of the letters. I simulate the light is coming from the upper left corner to the down right corner, so the letters cast a shadow on the background. So after I sketched the drop shadow, I fill it in. I realized I wanted bigger outlines, and I tried to do it with the New York Fat, but I fucked it up at this point. So I redid the outlines with the Lego cap. The Lego cap is called after a Lego figure head because it's yellow and has a black dot, just like the figure. To separate the background from the outline more, I use an old graffiti technique. It's called the second outline. It's like a glow which illuminates the piece from behind. I also recommend you use a contrasting color to your outline. This means if you have a black or dark outline, use a light color for your second outline. If you got, like in my case, a light outline, use a dark color. Now I paint the highlights. If you imagine, the light is coming from the left upper corner to the right down corner. The lightest point of your letters are the left upper edges. To do the glowing effect, I hold the spray can with more distance to the wall and spray lightly. To get the depth effect in the drop shadow, I use a black spray can with an almost clogged nozzle. Press lightly on the back of the cap and lightly go over the white. This also takes practice, that you don't press too hard, but if you make a mistake and you've got white left over, you always can paint over it and retry it. So the video is coming to an end. I want to thank you for watching. Leave some feedback. Tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like about the video. Then please subscribe to my channel, press the like button, press notification. And if you want to support me, there are all kinds of links in the description. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.